in the anti-terrorist operation zone. And as speakers, we have director Kostyantyn Klyatskin, operator Andriy Kotlyar, operator Olexander Soldatov, and sound producer Pavlo Lypa. Шановні колеги, зараз ми розпочинаємо брифінг на тему «Український кінематограф в зоні АТО». І в якості спікерів ми маємо Костянтина Клятскіна, режисера, оператора Андрія Котляра, оператора Олександра Солдатова та звукорежисера Павла Липу. Запрошую, будь ласка.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. We represent a project Babylon 13, and we'll talk today about the problem and specifics of filming in the zone of the anti-terrorist operation. I can tell you as a cameraman, first of all, you have to understand the responsibility, our responsibility as people before our military, and understand their demands and requests to film or not to film. At first we didn't understand this because we are not working for the news and we are not airing the material tomorrow, you know, but we will prepare a full-length film. But from time to time there were words like, take away your camera, don't film. Sometimes it's polite, sometimes not. We have to understand this because sometimes people do not cover their faces. We film them and then we have a problem that, you know, they tell their parents that they are on testing grounds somewhere hundreds of kilometers away from anti-terrorist operation, but then their mom or dad sees them at the front line, and this is a real problem. We also faced some other things, a problem for us, because we are not an organization that has regular finance and, of course, travel, because not many people even from among the volunteers wants to drive 3 or 4 cinematographers who want to film under the bullets. Not many people take courage to do this, and there's of course no well-oiled system of state help to journalists. We understand that our northern neighbor carries out a full-scale propaganda war, and we want to show how this happened in reality, and we want to involve the state in some manner so that it helps at least partially. And of course, many people ask us how you should behave in the anti-terrorist operation zone. First of all, you should have equipment. Then you have to have accreditation at the security service of Ukraine, because you won't go any farther than a first road checkpoint. And then our director and sound director will tell you about how they filmed in the regular Ukrainian army and in territorial battalions, because they are different. In reality, Andriy emphasized things military. As a documentary filmmaker, it was interesting for me to understand the psychology of a person in the East. It happened so that before this, I wasn't frequenting our East. At the moment, it is very important to understand who lives there and what they are feeling at the moment and what thoughts they have. So when we go there, I was going there like a blank sheet. I had some stereotypes, but I wasn't thinking about them. And the most important when you are there is to talk to people. those who are there, those who came back, those who stayed. And because of this, there's a lot of problems, because from the start, they take you, their attitude is very, very careful, and you don't even have an opportunity to talk to them because they are living through a very hard situation. So our main task was to integrate into local population and also to adjust to the military so that they could, so that we could film, because our first task is a feature film, to our artistic task is to rethink something. It's 4 days since we came from the front line. We were in a Donetsk suburb, and the three of us were going around together, and we have very fresh impressions. We were in the village of Peski, which in Ukrainian is called Peski. There's a lot of strange things happening in there, because it's one thing in Ukrainian and another thing in Russian. When people see you, they are apprehensive, but then there's a very interesting moment. You become for them a link to people in Kiev, Lviv, or everywhere. And then there's a new task in front of you, to show those people that civil people are with them. It's very important for them. It's funny to tell, but the first soldier at the road checkpoint asked us, "Have you heard anything about rotation?" This is a simple example. And when we finally came to the front line, the people are open, they are ready to share food with you and everything. When you are there, you're one of them, but you also can tell them what you saw in Kiev and what you feel, and they are ready to share with you everything that they go through. New people for them is like a new air, as oxygen. It is good for us as artists, but I also think about them. Psychologically, it's very important. Psychological help, very important. And now Pavlo, sound producer. In spite of the fact that I am a sound director, I'd like to share my general impressions. It is very important that soldiers understand and see that this war is a war, a real war, and they see blood and wounds and the death of their friends, even of their brothers. They form an impression that this is not seen and not understood in the so-called civil life. Practically all the soldiers from regular units and voluntary battalions, when we were asking them what they want to people in Kiev and Dnipropetrovsk, Kharkiv, and Lviv to understand, they said that people should understand that this is war. This is not toys, not a game. People are dying there. And in principle, they are fighting for those people who are in those cities, for peaceful people, so that the war does not come to those peaceful people. I'll tell you a story of a soldier from Kupiansk. Kupiansk is Kharkiv region, and he was mobilized, and he's warring for the war not to come to his hometown. And he said, for instance, that in principle, I do not need Donetsk very much. he said, I don't very much understand why I need Donetsk, but 200 kilometers away from here is Dnipropetrovsk. And if I don't go to war here, then the war will come to my hometown. First of all, I'd like to introduce to you Larisa Artyughina. She is a director of Babylon 13, who also filmed in the anti-terrorist operation zone more than once, and she has her own impressions. But I would probably moderate our meeting because we have a task to tell about the specifics of filming in the anti-terrorist operation zone. If you have impressions that you want to share about this, then the floor is yours. Good afternoon. Sorry for being late. I'd like to address my colleagues who are filming because first, before going to the anti-terrorist operation zone, you should think very well, because of course we have our task. We want the country to see our heroes and the reality that's happening. But first of all, we should think about the guys who, as they say, work, and about the fact that they want to perform their main task, to engage in combat, not to think about where the journalists are and not to protect journalists. I think that it's very important that in our country a profession of a war correspondent appears. It would be very good if we were going there being prepared, not only from the point of view of our profession, but also from the military point of view, because often, and you probably know this better than I, there are situations when our colleagues go missing. Many guys say that you should understand where are you going before you go there. It is especially complicated for women in these conditions, and I would suggest that we all are treating the situation more seriously, and maybe it's worth joining forces of universities and chairs that are engaged in journalism and documentary films, and to create a 1 or 4 months course for everyone who would like to learn some skills of a war correspondent. These are general remarks, and from my own experience of filming in such complicated, difficult situations, I was not in combat, but we filmed a lot in hospitals and at the base of voluntary detachments, and I'd tell you that it's probably worth going not to the front line, but to the hospital, because drama is unfolding there. And maybe we need to tell more about the stories of those people, about people who are alive today and not alive tomorrow. The country has to know heroes' faces, and it's rather complicated to show this face when the fighter is engaged in combat, because they are just doing their work. And of course, this is not the situation to film. And when they are resting, when they are on the base or in the hospital, regrettably, then they can reflect, they can think, they can open their faces. I think it's worse that we should tell more about volunteers who are protecting our countries. Do we have video? Yes, we do. And I think that we should show some video now. What are we going to show? We have quite a lot of our short films, and it's hard for us to decide which to start from. We have a letter to the Tsar, We have a humanitarian aid, we have something else. Let's see two short videos because we are pressed on time. You understand that the events are unfolding very quickly, and our films are not only about the fighters but also about peaceful population there. Let's watch the video which is called Humanitarian Aid, and let's view this film. I'll talk a bit and then the letter to the Tsar.
People support each other. Though a lot of ethnic groups lived here, Georgian, Tatars, Russians, Ukrainians, and there was no problem. Everything was fine. And here nobody can understand this. What has happened to them? As if they were enchanted by something. Something is wrong, something is wrong. You don't speak wrong way. Everything is wrong. You see? It's a lighter. It came to our houses, and the whole house was on fire, was burned down. At least a letter to the Tsar. We need 2 pages. If you if you asshole come over here, we'll kick your ass together with your rascals and your army. And Yanukovych, that dog, give it to us. We will put him on a stick. No, on a on a Christmas tree. Postscriptum.
Ну,
A little bit about some comments there to the last video. We are trying what told you. We want to hear not only soldiers who fight, but we want all people to hear them. And in this case, it was a little bit roughly saying the one who was with us, he had a concept, he wanted to do that, and soldiers supported that. And it was like a feedback which we are missing. They must be heard. For us to hear them and for us to for them to hear us, as to making videos in the area of ATO, what Larissa told you. We should not undermine, put in danger the guys when we are there, because if we get under bullets, if we get into problem, we undermine, we create troubles for the guys who will try to protect you, because when you come over there, you have priority for them, and it seems to me it will not be correct if they have to save us and become victims. So all those who video record in the ATO area, they should be adequate, and they should understand where they can hurt or where they cannot. If they hurt, it's better if they don't go over there. It has happened that we won the front line. We didn't know about that until we came to that place. And there could be consequences. If there was an attack, we would put those guys under threat. When you take a risk, you need to understand you're taking a risk, but don't put life for others under the risk. About operators, I can tell you, try to feel responsibility to the guys, because you come, you video record, like we spent 1 or 2 days with them, and we leave, and then they have to fight after that. So think about what you video record. Well, they told us at the blog post, a group of journalists came. I will not name the channel, and I don't understand. They video recorded for news the whole blog post from all sides, how many automatic guns, how many APCs were there, and to make selfie. You understand, you come to some line, and also they see your GPS coordinates, and then you go to Kiev and you rest, and then they are shelled with a grad system. You should feel that you're responsible for the life of others. And also, if they ask you, don't. The story of about one volunteer, I tell you. One channel came and to video record, and I saw how they did it. I asked the operator not to put me, not to record my face, because my mother didn't want. And next day, I saw the face of that volunteer. It doesn't matter. For parents, it's a tragedy, because they think that their son at somewhere at the test field but they showed where that was. So be moral responsible for your work, because maybe with us it's different, because we show only 1% of the situation. Our producers, they think about like they prepare a documentary which will tell to future generation about this war. So be responsible as journalists and also as citizens. If you get into trouble, do what military men tell you. Dodge like they do, run away like they do, for you not to be wounded and for you not to be because a burden for them, and because you are a civilian for them, and nobody needs that video if people die for you. You have to understand the video. There are no terrorists and rebels. They're professionals. They don't care whether you have a sticker of press or not. One more detail about video recorder. It should not be related to the location. It's very important. Thank you. Andriy Kotlyar raised a very important issue. Do you have time? No, we don't. Okay. Then probably we will summarize what we told you or what we were trying to tell you. The issue of responsibility and ethics, of journalist ethics, it's becomes very important. Not just important, but bright. I want all the people, independently whether they are professional or not, from a channel or not, who go to ATO, a video record on mobile phones on their cameras before you put it in openly on YouTube or even on your web page. Think twice, because somebody, in addition to a family, a representative from DNR can see that person, and because of you, that person can disappear or can be killed, and that's a reality of life. That's why the issue, not just of civic responsibility, maybe we should hold a special conference and to discuss this, that under the conditions we live in, we need to put some corrections to adjust it to already generally accepted journalist standards. We have a war here, and a war is quite a difference, so behave yourself like you are at the war. Not only there in ATO area, but also here in Kiev, because that's why we call our colleagues to discuss professionally in the society and to come to conclusions for people to live and for our military men to live. Where could we see your products? Easy. We have a channel in YouTube. It is called Babylon 13. After the second B, we have Y. Let me show it to you. Babylon 13 on YouTube. In Facebook, we have our page. It is called Babylon 13. We have a website, and we will update it. And we are volunteers. We don't have a chance to develop something, a powerful PR campaign. We don't have a resource for them. It's very difficult. We are here. We are only volunteers, and our resources expire, and it's not easy for us. So find us in social networks, and we are on Kontakte, on Facebook, on Google Plus, Twitter, YouTube. A question to you. Do you, your product, is it only for Ukrainian audience? No. All of our, we have subtitles in Russian, also in English. So in Russia they can watch it and they can understand our wonderful language. Thank you. I would like to ask you to wish something. Two main messages to those who video record in ATO area. And think about the life of your life and about life of your colleagues. I understand that you have journalistic duty, but I understand we made one. We do recorded on Maidan, but it was, and we put under risk some people. But here the level of responsibility is much higher, and all operators should understand that. Think about people, what they think, what they feel, and don't abuse people with your questions. So don't force people to answer your questions which they wouldn't like to answer. I wish you good luck. As before you go to ATO, think why you are going. Write down questions you would like to get answers for. We cannot just cover. We need to understand why we go over there. Just you should have a creative task for yourself. Don't speak in general about events. It's nobody needs that. We understand why we are, who those people are. Just be responsible, professional people. Thank you very much. And from Ukrainian Crisis Media Center. You are great, and we would like to get more of your products. Thank you.